Hello class, this PowerPoint and video covers reading skills and how you should begin to approach reading the materials for all your college classes and especially English 110 this summer. So one of the things you will notice as you begin your journey into college is that reading will be probably the central task that you will do. All right. You might have homework or some other activities, but almost every class will require a lot of reading, more reading than what you might be used to in your previous educational stops, wherever that might be. So what we want to do when we start to develop a college level reading strategy, which we'll talk about in a moment, is to try and find a way to read all of this new material, all of this reading that you might feel overwhelmed with, and doing it in a way that improves your retention and allows you to handle the load of reading material that you will get in an effective manner, all right? Because not only will you get a lot of reading, all right, college level reading will also challenge you with difficult ideas, difficult concepts, new information, and things that would be difficult for you to read. That's why you're in a college class learning about them. So be prepared. You're going to be reading. So, as we said, at college, reading takes on one of the central ways you will learn information. Even videos like this won't cut it. You're going to have to read the stuff yourself. It will in some ways be your major task as a student. Sorry, there's no way around it. If you're one of these students who have told me in the past that you hate reading and it sucks, you're going to have to want to learn to like it because it's going to be the main thing that you're going to be doing, not just in this class, but in all your classes. Right? And finally, really try and remember that you're in college because you want to achieve something, all right? And now, of course, not every class will be interesting or not every class will be applicable to your major, but as a college student, you can try and find something interesting in a class that you take. There will always be something. That I promise, but you may have to figure out what is interesting to you and kind of go find it on your own. But that's a good way to stay engaged and involved in the task of reading at college. All right, so as we've said, get ready. You're going to read a bunch in college. It's kind of the main task. The readings will be hard. It was hard for me. It's been hard for your other professors. It's hard for everyone to read in college because you're reading so much more and so many more challenging things. But luckily, reading is a skill. People think that it's something that we just do, especially as you get to be an adult. We think, oh, this is just something that you do. But it's not. Reading actively and reading with a purpose is a skill. You know, it will require practice. I had to learn it. You're going to want to have to learn it. But when you do learn it, it will make your life easier, I promise. So, to begin with, what I want you to do from every point on, start reading with a pen or pencil, all right? Underline, star, question mark. If you're reading on a screen, make sure you're reading in a way that you can highlight, underline, and write notes in the margins. You can do this on PDFs. You can do this on Word documents, all right? You want to start actively engaging with what you've read. Don't just sit there and read it, all right? Read and take notes at the same time. That is the major thing. It will improve your life dramatically. So let's break down some key reading strats, all right? How we can strategize to form a reading plan for English 110 and for your other college classes. On Blackboard, one of the things that you need to read is Andrew Sharp's piece about reading in college. I find it's very helpful, and he provides a lot of really nice practical advice to you, a student. The first one is skim. Skim, skim, skim. There is a expression saying that you measure twice and cut once, as I screwed it up. Measure twice and cut once. Skimming is like that, all right? Now, what we mean by skimming. Skimming isn't just reading something in a hurry or reading sloppily or just kind of trying to look for keywords so you can pass a reading quiz. It's a disciplined activity in its own right. Essentially, what you're doing when you're skimming is you're going to take a thorough look. This should be about maybe anywhere from 3 to up to 10 minutes, depending on the length of what you're reading. All right. Look through and see what the headers are. All right. See what is presented in the introduction and conclusion. Is there pictures? Are there data tables? Look at those. You won't understand them, but have in your head an understanding of what's going to come up when you sit down to actually read the piece that you're required to read. Think of it as prepping the way that you read. So, as you skim, all right, look for the introduction, all right, look at the title. What do you think the title means? All right, take a guess. All right, when you're skimming, you got to be active, you got to be thinking. Read the title and think, okay, I think I know what this might be, and then chart that in your head so that you go to read it. Right? Look in the introduction, see if you can find a thesis statement in the first few pages or first few paragraphs. In the body of a paper, look for headers. All right, an author will use headers and subheads to outline the argument to you. If the piece does not have these, look at the first line of every paragraph. Read it, all right, and kind of think, all right, here's the first line of every paragraph will also work as somewhat of an outline. Finally, look at the last sentence. What did the author choose to leave on? Right? Do all of this before you read it, all right? You're prepping yourself to be able to understand what you read, to anticipate what's coming up in an essay. Do not read for college like you read for pleasure. You want to spoil yourself, all right? You want to figure out what is coming at the end. You always want to look over a chapter before you read it. Skim through an essay before you read it, all right? Don't let the text surprise you, all right? That will only make it more confusing, all right? So skim first, then read. Some other things that will help you kind of when you skim and things to look for. These are signposts, or you might also have heard them called signal words, all right? Essentially, you're looking for verbs. Remember, verbs are actions, all right? Oftentimes, an author will use a verb to express or explain something's importance, all right? So look for the verbs. Look for these signpost signal verbs, some of which have been provided to you on the PowerPoint. Okay, so let's continue with some key tips to help you read in college. One, since we're doing things online, this may not apply, but when things get back to normal, avoid the use of a highlighter, right? When students use a highlighter, they tend to highlight, one, way too much stuff, and two, highlighting something is less effective than writing a note for yourself in the margin, all right? Think of it like you're studying for a test, all right? You read this chapter of your history book a month ago, you highlighted something about this battle or whatever, and now you're looking at it and you're like, why the heck did I highlight that? What's important about that? Whereas if you wrote a note, a little, just a little, few key things, all right, on the side of the margins, it's a much more effective way to help you remember the information. Second point, try writing down the key arguments of what you've read and making your own summary or outline. All right, you need to be able to prep and understand what you read more or less in college on your own. Like, we'll talk about it, we'll go back and forth, we'll have interactions between your professor and you, but don't expect your professor to kind of tell you what the text means. All right, professors are more likely to tell you what's important and what you should take from it, but it's on you to understand it. So you need to do some work with that and try writing down key margins, key ideas in the margins of what you've read. 3, mark down anything you don't understand, anything you're uncertain, anything that was confusing, and ask the professor. Go to office hours, email, raise your hand and ask a question in class if you've given a thing. If the professor says, does anybody have any questions? It may seem like professors are like, does anybody have any questions? That they don't want you to ask, but most professors do. That's why we say it. So if you don't understand something, note it in the margin, all right, put a question mark by it, and then ask your professor about it. Finally, start thinking of ideas where you and what your opinions are about the materials. Did you like something or not? Did something give you a strong emotion? Did you get angry? Did you get sad? Did you get overly confused? Note that down. Be aware of how you're reacting to what you've read, and, as we say, write it in the margins. Okay, so let's practice some of these new skills on the reading material for Unit 1, Ken Murray's essay, How Doctors Die. As you read, all right, and after you're done reading it, see if you can answer these 3 questions in a few sentences of your own. Okay, if you can do this, you're on the right track, right? You should be able to do it. So first, what is the argument Ken Murray is presenting in his essay, How Doctors Die? 2, what does Murray want you, the reader, to understand? What does he want you, as you read this essay, to learn? 3, what examples does Murray use to convince you, the reader, of his point? If you can answer these 3 questions, all right, write them down. If you can write down your answers to these 3 questions, you'll be doing yourself a world of good and helping to prepare for the paper we will write on the essay. As always, make sure to read the PowerPoint attached to this video on Blackboard.